Before you blame the world, before you say life is unfair, pause and look inward. Not at your skills, not at your resources, but at your beliefs. Because what blocks your success is rarely the lack of opportunity. It is often the quiet belief you repeat every day without noticing. The belief that says I am not ready yet. The belief that says others are ahead of me. The belief that says this is just how life is. These thoughts feel harmless, but they slowly decide how you stand, how you move, and how far you are willing to go. You want success, but your mind is divided. One part wants growth, the other wants comfort. Comfort will always speak louder if you do not train awareness. It will dress fear as logic. It will call hesitation patience. It will call avoidance wisdom. This is why many people work hard, but stay in the same place. Their actions move forward, but their beliefs pull them back. Look carefully at how you see yourself. If deep inside you believe you are limited, every challenge will look like proof. If you believe you are capable, every challenge becomes training. The situation does not change. Only your position changes. Success is not something you chase outside. It is something that responds to how you carry yourself inside. Most people never question the image they carry of themselves. They accept it as truth. They say, this is who I am. This is how I have always been. This is what I can do and what I cannot do. That belief quietly decides their future. If you see yourself as weak, every challenge feels heavy. If you see yourself as incapable, every opportunity feels out of reach. The mind will always act in alignment with the picture it holds. This is why questioning your self-image is not optional. It is essential. Your self-image was not born with you. It was shaped by words spoken to you when you were young, by comparisons, by failures you did not process correctly, by moments when you tried and felt pain. Over time, these experiences formed an identity, and now you defend it, even when it limits you. The mind prefers familiarity over growth. It would rather stay small and safe than step into uncertainty. But success demands that you challenge this internal story. Look closely at the language you use when you speak about yourself. I am not good at this. I am not built for that. I always fail at these things. These sentences feel normal because you have repeated them for years. But repetition does not make them true. It only makes them strong. When you constantly repeat a limitation, your nervous system accepts it as instruction. Your posture changes. Your effort reduces. Your focus weakens, and then life reflects it back to you as confirmation. Question this process. Ask yourself, where is the evidence that this belief is absolute? One failure does not define your capacity. One weakness does not define your potential. You are not your past actions. You are the one who performed them. That distinction matters. When you identify with the mistake, you shrink. When you observe it, you learn. A disciplined mind does not accept every thought as truth. It examines, it tests. It asks whether this belief supports growth or protects comfort. Many people protect comfort without realizing it. They call it being realistic. But realism without courage becomes limitation. Growth requires a willingness to look foolish, to struggle, to be a beginner. If your self-image demands perfection, you will never start. If it allows learning, you will progress. Do not wait until you feel different about yourself. Act differently first. Action is the fastest way to challenge identity. When you do something that your old belief said you could not do, even in a small way, the mind is forced to update. Confidence does not come from thinking. It comes from evidence. And evidence is built through consistent action. You may feel resistance. That is normal. The old identity will fight to survive. It will bring excuses. It will bring fear. It will remind you of past pain. This is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that change is happening. Stay calm. Stay steady. Do not argue with the mind. Show it through action. Understand this clearly. You do not need to destroy your old self-image. You need to outgrow it. Growth is quiet. It happens daily through small choices. You choose discipline over comfort. You choose effort over excuse. You choose responsibility over blame. Each choice slightly reshapes how you see yourself. As your self-image improves, your behavior changes naturally. You stand differently. You speak differently. You take responsibility without resentment. Challenges stop feeling personal. They become tasks. And tasks can be trained for. Success begins the moment you stop asking who am I and start asking who am I becoming. Let your actions answer that question every day. When your self-image aligns with effort and discipline, the path forward becomes clear. Most people say they want success, but their daily choices reveal a different priority. They choose what feels easy, familiar, and safe. This is not because they are lazy. It is because comfort is seductive. It speaks softly. It promises rest, security, and avoidance of pain. Discipline speaks differently. It is quiet, firm, and demanding. It does not negotiate with your moods. If you do not consciously replace comfort with discipline, comfort will always decide your direction. Comfort keeps you in the known. The known feels safe because it requires no effort to face uncertainty. Even if the known is painful or limiting, the mind prefers it because it is predictable. This is why people stay in situations they dislike, not because they enjoy them, but because change requires effort and risk. Discipline is the willingness to face discomfort today so that tomorrow is not controlled by yesterday. Look at your routines. They expose your real beliefs. If you wait to feel motivated before acting, comfort is in control. Motivation is unstable. Comes and goes. Discipline remains when motivation disappears. Discipline means you act because it is necessary, not because it feels good. You train even when the mind resists. You show up even when energy is low. This is how strength is built. Many people misunderstand discipline. They see it as punishment. They think it is harsh or restrictive. In reality, discipline is self-respect. It is saying my future matters more than my current comfort. When you live without discipline, you become a servant to impulse. You react instead of choosing. That is not freedom. True freedom is the ability to do what must be done regardless of how you feel. Replacing comfort with discipline does not mean eliminating rest or joy. It means choosing intentional rest instead of unconscious escape. There is a difference between recovery and avoidance. Recovery prepares you to return stronger. Avoidance keeps you weak while giving the illusion of relief. Discipline helps you recognize this difference clearly. The mind will resist discipline at first. It will create reasons. It will say you can start tomorrow. It will say one day does not matter. These thoughts are traps. One day always matters because it reinforces identity. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen the identity of someone who keeps promises to themselves. Every time you choose comfort, you strengthen the opposite. Start small. Discipline grows through consistency, not intensity. If you demand too much at once, you will fail. Confirm old beliefs. Choose simple actions. Wake up at the same time. Train your body. Focus on one task without distraction. These small acts build internal order. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Understand that discomfort is not an enemy. It is a signal that growth is happening. When the body is trained, muscles tear slightly to become stronger. The same principle applies to the mind. When you replace comfort with discipline, the old patterns weaken. The new ones strengthen. This process requires patience. Do not rush it. Do not dramatize it. Just repeat the work. Discipline also sharpens awareness. When you are disciplined, you notice where your energy goes. You stop wasting it on complaints, comparison, and excuses. You direct it into action. This focus simplifies life. Fewer choices. Fewer regrets. More progress. Success is not built on dramatic moments. It's built on quiet decisions made daily. When you consistently choose discipline over comfort, you change who you are. And when who you are changes, what you achieve must change as well. Stay disciplined, stay patient, and let your actions speak. Many people believe they must feel confident before they take action. This belief quietly stops progress more than failure ever could. Confidence is treated like a permission slip, something you wait for before moving forward. But confidence does not come first. Action does. Waiting to feel ready keeps you stuck in preparation, thinking, and hesitation. Life does not reward readiness. It rewards movement. Look closely at how confidence actually forms. It is not born from comfort or certainty. It is built through exposure. The first time you try something new, confidence is low. The second time, it is slightly higher. After repetition, it becomes natural. Confidence is simply the memory of survived discomfort. If you avoid action, you deny yourself the chance to build that memory. The mind wants guarantees. It wants to know the outcome before committing effort. But growth offers no guarantees. Acting without confidence means stepping into uncertainty. This is where discipline becomes essential. Discipline moves the body forward even when the mind is unsure. You do not need to silence fear. You need to walk with it. Most people mistake fear as a sign to stop. In reality, fear is often a sign that you are stepping beyond the limits of your old identity. The old self resists change because change threatens its control. When fear appears, it does not mean you are weak. It means you are early in the process. Do not wait for fear to disappear. Use it as confirmation that you are on the edge of growth. When you act without confidence, something important happens. You shift from imagination to reality. In the mind, challenges appear larger than they are. In action, they become manageable tasks. Thinking drains energy. Doing creates momentum. Momentum simplifies decisions. Once you start, the next step becomes clearer. Confidence is also misunderstood as a personality trait. People say some are naturally confident. This is an excuse. What you call natural confidence is often practiced competence. Behind it are hours of repetition, failure, and correction. You do not see the process, only the result. Comparing your beginning to someone else's outcome creates unnecessary doubt. Take responsibility for your hesitation, not with judgment, but with honesty. Ask yourself what you are protecting. Often it is your image. You fear looking incapable. You fear making mistakes, but mistakes are training. When you avoid mistakes, you avoid skill. When you avoid skill, confidence never arrives. Acting before confidence requires humility. You accept that you will be imperfect. You accept that progress will be slow. This acceptance removes pressure. Pressure comes from trying to perform an identity you have not yet earned. Drop the performance. Focus on the work. Small actions are enough. You do not need bold moves. You need consistent moves. Speak even if your voice shakes. Start even if the plan is unclear. Train even if progress feels invisible. Each action is a vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, those votes create belief. Understand that confidence is not the absence of doubt. It is the ability to act despite it. Doubt may stay for a long time. Let it stay. Do not negotiate with it. Just continue. The body learns faster than the mind. When the body shows up daily, the mind eventually follows. This is how identity changes. Not through affirmations or waiting, but through repeated proof. When you see yourself act with discipline again and again, the mind updates its story. I am someone who takes action. I am someone who does not wait. From this identity, confidence naturally grows. Do not ask when confidence will come. Ask whether you acted today. Action first, confidence later. That is the order. Many people do not realize how much of their life is controlled by the need for approval. They say they want success, peace, and freedom. Yet they hand over their direction to opinions that change every day. When your actions depend on being liked, praised, or accepted, you lose stability. Your energy rises and falls based on reactions that are not in your control. This is a weak foundation for growth. The desire for approval is natural, especially in the beginning. Humans are social beings. We learn by imitation and feedback. But when approval becomes a requirement rather than information, it turns into a trap. You stop asking what is necessary and start asking what will be appreciated. This shift quietly pulls you away from your path. Look at how approval shapes behavior. You hesitate to speak honestly. You avoid risks that might invite criticism. You choose goals that look impressive rather than ones that are meaningful. Over time, this creates internal conflict. You may appear successful, but inside you feel empty and tense because you are constantly performing instead of becoming. Approval seeking weakens discipline. Discipline requires doing what must be done, even when it is unseen and uncelebrated. When your effort depends on recognition, you only work when someone is watching. Real growth happens in silence, in repetition, in moments where no one claps. If you cannot respect those moments, your progress will always be shallow. External opinions are unstable by nature. Today you are praised, tomorrow you are ignored. The same action can receive admiration from one person and criticism from another. If you allow these reactions to guide you, your direction will constantly shift. This creates confusion and exhaustion. You begin to doubt yourself, not because you are wrong, but because you are listening to too many voices. Replacing the need for approval with internal standards is essential. Internal standards are based on effort, consistency, and integrity. Did I train today? Did I show up fully? Did I act according to my values? These questions are stable. They do not depend on mood or opinion. When you answer them honestly, you build self-trust. Self-trust is stronger than confidence because it is rooted in experience. Let go of the idea that everyone must understand your path. Most people are busy carrying their own fears and projections. Their reactions often say more about them than about you. When you expect understanding from everyone, you give them power over your emotional state. Freedom begins when you accept that misunderstanding is part of growth. Criticism is not always an enemy, but it must be filtered. Use it as data, not as identity. Take what helps you improve and discard the rest. Praise should be treated the same way. Enjoy it, but do not depend on it. When praise becomes fuel, its absence becomes punishment. Training yourself to stop seeking approval requires awareness. Notice when you hesitate because you fear judgment. Notice when you adjust your actions to fit expectations. Do not attack yourself for this. Simply observe. Awareness weakens unconscious habits. Each time you choose action over approval, your inner strength grows. True authority comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, you feel calm even in disagreement. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. Your consistency becomes your explanation. Over time, this attracts respect that is deeper and more stable than approval. Walk your path quietly. Let your work speak. When your standards come from within, no opinion can shake you. Many people say they do not have time. This sentence is spoken with certainty, as if time itself has chosen to avoid them. But time is not the problem. Priority is. Everyone is given the same 24 hours. The difference is how those hours are directed. Time moves according to what you value. If your priorities are unclear, your time will be scattered. When your priorities are clear, time becomes focused. Look honestly at how you spend your day, not how you plan it, but how you live it. Your actions reveal your true priorities more accurately than your intentions. If growth matters to you, your schedule will show it. If comfort matters more, your schedule will also show that. Time never lies, it simply obeys. Many people confuse busyness with progress. They fill their day with activity and feel exhausted, yet nothing meaningful moves forward. This happens when priorities are not defined. Without clear priorities, everything feels urgent. When everything is urgent, nothing is important. Energy is wasted reacting instead of building. Respecting time means deciding in advance what deserves your best energy. Not everything does. This requires courage because choosing one thing means saying no to many others. Saying no feels uncomfortable at first. You fear missing out. You fear disappointing others. But without boundaries, your time will be claimed by distractions, requests, and habits that do not serve your growth. Clear priorities simplify life. When you know what matters most, decisions become easier. You stop debating with yourself. You stop negotiating with distraction. You act with direction. This reduces mental noise. Less noise means more focus. More focus means better results in less time. Understand that time is not just hours on a clock. It is also attention. You can spend an hour on something and gain nothing if your attention is divided. You can spend 20 minutes fully present and make real progress. Respecting time means protecting attention. This requires discipline. You must remove unnecessary interruptions. You must train yourself to stay with one task until it is complete. People often wait for large blocks of free time to work on themselves. This is another trap. Large blocks rarely appear. Life will always present demands. Growth happens in small, consistent moments. Daily practice matters more than occasional intensity. When priorities are clear, you use small windows effectively instead of wasting them. If you truly respect time, you prepare. You plan your day before it begins, not with rigid control, but with intention. You decide what must be done regardless of mood. This reduces decision fatigue. When the mind is not constantly choosing, energy is saved for action. Time wasted once cannot be recovered. But do not regret the past. Regret drains energy without giving direction. Learn from it. Adjust priorities. Begin again today. Respecting time is not about perfection. It is about responsibility. Another misunderstanding is thinking that rest is wasted time. Rest is essential, but only when it is intentional. Unplanned rest often becomes avoidance. Intentional rest restores energy so you can return to your priorities stronger. When rest is scheduled, it no longer competes with work. Balance is created through structure, not through impulse. As your priorities become clear, you will notice something important. You feel calmer. You feel less rushed. Even though you are doing more meaningful work, your mind feels lighter. This is because internal conflict is reduced. You are no longer torn between what you want and what you do. Alignment creates peace. Respect time as you would respect a teacher. It shows you what matters. When you honor it through clear priorities and disciplined attention, progress becomes steady and unavoidable. Use your time wisely, and it will build the life you want. Discomfort is something most people try to avoid at all costs. They see it as a warning sign, as proof that something is wrong. From an early age, we are trained to move away from difficulty and toward ease. But this conditioning quietly blocks growth. Everything that strengthens you exists on the other side of comfort. If you do not change your relationship with discomfort, progress will always feel out of reach. Discomfort is not punishment. It is information. It tells you that you are doing something unfamiliar, something that challenges your current capacity. The body understands this well. When you train physically, the muscles burn. That sensation is not damage. It is adaptation in progress. The same principle applies to the mind and character. Without resistance, there is no strengthening. Many people confuse discomfort with danger. This confusion creates fear. They pull back the moment something feels difficult. They stop when the mind becomes uneasy. But growth does not announce itself gently. It tests you. It asks whether you are willing to stay present when things are not pleasant. Training the ability to stay with discomfort builds resilience. Resilience is what allows you to move forward when conditions are not ideal. When you embrace discomfort as training, your interpretation changes. The challenge is no longer an obstacle, it becomes a tool. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You ask, what is this teaching me? This shift in perspective transforms pressure into purpose. You stop taking difficulty personally. You see it as part of the process. Avoidance strengthens fear. Every time you avoid something uncomfortable, you teach the mind that it was right to be afraid. The next time, the fear grows stronger. When you face discomfort calmly, even briefly, you weaken that fear. The mind learns that discomfort can be survived. This is how courage is built. Not through bold gestures, but through repeated exposure. Discomfort also reveals where you are attached. When something triggers strong resistance, it often touches the ego. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing control. These attachments limit you. By staying with discomfort, you become aware of them. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates freedom. Training with discomfort must be done with intelligence. This is not about reckless suffering. It is about intentional challenge. Choose difficulties that align with growth. Wake up when you want to sleep. Focus when you want to distract yourself. Speak when you want to remain silent out of fear. These small discomforts build inner strength without harming balance. Consistency matters more than intensity. Extreme discomfort can overwhelm and discourage. Moderate, regular discomfort builds stability. It teaches you that discomfort is temporary. It rises and falls. You learn not to react immediately. This patience transfers into every area of life. You become less impulsive, more grounded. As you train this skill, your threshold expands. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once felt challenging becomes routine. This is how progress feels from the inside. Quiet, gradual, undramatic. Others may call it confidence or toughness. You know it is simply familiarity with discomfort. Discomfort also sharpens focus. When you willingly enter difficulty, distractions lose power. The mind becomes present. Complaints fall away. Only the task remains. This simplicity brings clarity. In clarity, effort becomes clean and effective. When you stop running from discomfort, you stop running from life. You meet it directly. This builds self-respect. You trust yourself because you know you will not escape at the first sign of difficulty. That trust is a deep form of confidence. Embrace discomfort daily in small, controlled ways. Let it train you. Over time, it will no longer feel like an enemy. It will feel like a guide. Consistency is the hidden force behind every success story. Yet most people overlook it. They wait for motivation, inspiration, or the perfect moment, thinking that extraordinary results require extraordinary conditions. But real growth is built quietly day after day, in the small choices repeated without attention or applause. One action alone does not define progress. What defines progress is the accumulation of disciplined actions formed with intent over time. This is why committing to one path consistently is more powerful than bursts of energy followed by long pauses. Many people get distracted by novelty. They chase new ideas, strategies, or trends because they promise faster results. The mind craves excitement, but excitement is not progress. Action without focus creates motion, not direction. Consistency demands focus. It demands that you stay on your chosen path, even when results are not immediately visible. The unseen work is the real work. It builds the foundation others rarely notice, but it is also what sustains success long term. Committing to one path does not mean ignoring opportunity. It means filtering distractions through clarity. Every choice should serve the larger goal, not momentary desire. When you spread yourself too thin, effort dissipates. You may appear busy, but real growth is absent. Depth always wins over width. By staying committed, the mind, body, and emotions align around a single direction. This alignment produces efficiency, strength, and confidence. Consistency also strengthens identity. Every repeated action sends a signal to the mind. This is who you are. Your habits sculpt your self-image. When you perform disciplined action daily, even in small ways, you reinforce the identity of someone capable, reliable, and strong. Without consistency, identity remains fragmented. You may feel motivated one day and defeated the next. Consistency removes this instability by making effort automatic and reliable. Many people underestimate the power of patience in consistency. The mind wants immediate results. When results do not appear, doubt and frustration emerge. But progress is cumulative. Seed planted today may take months or years to bear fruit. Daily effort may feel invisible, but it compounds. Small, repeated actions create momentum. Momentum eventually produces results that feel disproportionate to the effort, but only because you stayed committed long enough for it to accumulate. Consistency also trains resilience. Life will always present obstacles, interruptions, and setbacks. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is the ability to keep going when circumstances are difficult. Each day you return to your path, even after failure, you strengthen resilience. This resilience becomes automatic, a force that carries you through challenges without surrendering to temporary discomfort or doubt. The mind will resist consistency. Boredom, fatigue, and temptation all seek to pull you off course. The first step is awareness. Notice when resistance arises, but do not treat it as a signal to stop. Resistance is a reminder that growth is occurring. It tests whether your commitment is authentic or conditional. Choosing action in spite of discomfort, distraction, or fatigue is what separates temporary effort from true progress. Consistency also teaches humility. You cannot control every variable or predict every result. By committing to the process rather than the outcome, you focus on what is truly within your power, daily action. This mindset reduces anxiety, obsession, and comparison. You learn to find fulfillment in effort itself, knowing that results are the natural consequence of persistent work. Committing to one path consistently builds clarity. When you focus on a single direction, you learn faster. Mistakes become lessons. Progress becomes measurable. Attention no longer scatters across endless possibilities. By narrowing your focus, You become a master of your craft, not a dilettante trying to touch everything and mastering nothing. Consistency is not dramatic. It does not demand heroics or perfection. It demands presence, discipline, and patience. Each day you show up, even in small ways, you build a chain that cannot easily be broken. Over time, that chain becomes strength, skill, and finally, results. Success is not an event. It is the natural outcome of commitment performed day after day without deviation. When you commit fully to one path, the noise of distraction fades. Comparison loses power. Doubt diminishes. You move with direction and purpose. Action becomes automatic. Confidence grows quietly. Mastery emerges through repetition. Nothing can stop momentum built on consistent effort. Stay committed. Return to the path each day. Let small, persistent actions shape your identity, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your resilience. Over time, this unwavering consistency transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. As we come to the end of this journey together, remember that success is not found in luck, in sudden inspiration, or in the approval of others. It is found in the quiet choices you make every day, the discipline to act even when you are uncertain, the courage to face discomfort, the clarity to prioritize what truly matters, and the commitment to stay on your path no matter how slow the progress may seem. Your beliefs shape your reality, your actions define your identity, and your consistency creates results that cannot be taken away. Do not let fear, doubt, or the need for validation block your path any longer. Step forward with intention. Face your challenges with calm, and trust that every small action compounds into lasting change. The person you are becoming is more powerful than any obstacle you may face. You are capable, you are resilient, and your growth is inevitable when you align belief, discipline, and action. So take this knowledge, carry it with you, and put it into practice each day. Let your life reflect the strength, focus, and clarity that you have discovered within yourself today. Good luck on your journey. Thank you for listening and for committing to become the person you were always meant to be.